The ACT Government will introduce new guidelines to allow Canberra residents to grow vegetables on their nature strips. Greens MLA Shane Rattenbury is the driving force behind the new legislation and prepared a 22-page consultation paper outlining the new guidelines. Despite popular support for the concept, the proposed rules have attracted criticism from community groups and the public for overzealous regulations on approved heights, clearance zones and materials which may be used to grow vegetables.
Hello and thank you for watching. This is Capital Inc. My name's Chris Kimball. I've got some great journalists joining me this week. Ginger Gorman, freelance social affairs reporter. Amanda Whitley from Her Canberra. Emma Macdonald, senior reporter from the Canberra Times. And Kristen Henry from Mixed Breakfast. Ladies,
Hello.
Thank you for joining me. From the big picture to the small plot, planning your plot out the front of your house. Veggies on the Verge has generated a lot of discussion in recent weeks. Callers to 666, 2CC, Kristen and Rod's breakfast program, all different opinions about why Veggies on the Verge is a good thing, what it can mean to communities. It's a typical Canberra story that it has blown up about regulation and about how high a tomato plant should be. Kristen, I've heard callers to your program about this. People are passionate about
They are
veggies.
so passionate, and I mean, the bottom line is that anything that we can do to steer our kids away from packaged foods or processed foods is an excellent idea. We saw what happened with our little salmonella incident with our lettuce a little while ago. Is it going to be messy though? Are there going to be fights in the street over who owns the pumpkin? What happens if two residents are having a roast at the same time and there's only time for one? Is it paper, scissors, rock? I don't know. I don't know. So many issues.
Has the government bitten off more than it can chew? Emma?
I have to say I love this idea. I absolutely loved it. It just appeals to my sense of community. I just think it is very typically Canberra in that, you know, we're all interested in what everyone's planting and what they're doing. And we are quite a veggie obsessed, city. So I think it's great. I think it's inspiring and I love it. What I don't love is reading the fine print and just seeing the rules and the regulations, i.e. You can't have an edging more than 15 centimetres, you can't have a plant more than 50 centimetres. You cannot, if you put in watering, the water can't go on the road or the footpath. You've got to have the garden 15 centimetres back from the footpath, 1.5 metres back from a verge. It is actually very tricky. The bollards, you can't, you've got to have a recycled plastic bollard between 1 and 1.2 metres with a reflective, I think it would have been nicer if it had been a little bit less Canberra, a little bit less regulations. Don't put people off by making it so difficult and so technical that they're fearful of what may happen. They're vegetables. It's not a killer tomato, it's just a tomato.
Is it to stop people being messy? Is it to stop them looking a bit,
I think it's more a public liability issue, as in, they're tripping hazards. If someone's stealing my strawberries and they trip over, that's their problem.
Yes. Yeah.
I think.
Karma. It's karma.
Yeah.
There's so many great examples of where it's helping make community now and it's working, isn't it, Ginger?
Look, I mean, guerrilla garden, I did stories about this 10 years ago. People have been guerrilla gardening for a long time and it does actually bring out everybody onto the street and they all love it, And I am one of those people that thinks vegetables can bring about world peace, definitely. I think the regulations are too much and I think we all just need to be sensible about it. Yeah. If you're going to grow parsley on the street, old Mr. Brown down the street is probably going to come and take it.
I'm less worried about the neighbours and more worried about the possums and the kangaroos, but perhaps that's an issue for another.
But isn't it, to me, this is almost like Uber or Airbnb of vegetables. It's about using up resources that are sitting there and we can share more easily. The way that Canberra was built is that we have so much spare land. Let's use it. Let's use it to bring our kids out on the street. On our street, the kids do play together. How great would that be if they were not only playing together, but picking the tomatoes? I just think that's a beautiful idea.
And cooking together.
Yeah.
You hear the stories like Costa Georgalis, who presents Gardening Australia, amazing stories about transforming communities through being able to have a community project that actually gets you out the front, gets you involved. Do you think we'll have the veggie police, Amanda?
Well,
veggie patrol.
But as you say, Chris, there's something, I mean, kids these days, so many of them, I mean, I grew up in the country, so we had a veggie patch out the back, so we were always quite connected from where our food came from. But, you know, a lot of kids these days, particularly those that live in the city, you know, have never grown their own vegetables. You know, everything comes from Coles or Woolies or in a packet or, you know, a nicely packaged salmonella.
Yummy.
But, you know, it's not only that, but it's also bringing neighbours out and together. We, you know, so often go home to our houses and we stay in our houses and
Yeah, it's about watering together and weeding together.
Exactly.
I think if everyone can just, you know,
Calm
embrace
down a little
it.
bit.
Yeah.
I think that's right. It's about being big-hearted, isn't it? That's
There's
all it
enough
is.
rosemary for everyone's
Yeah,
life.
there is, and it grows really easily, so everyone can have a look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the tomatoes that are going to be under.